Hi everyone, I hope you're doing great today. Okay, so this is one of those privileged information that I always want to share with us, okay? I can't completely confirm that this is true because for you to confirm something, you have to really take it through some processes of research and testing and all of that. But all I know is that the sources of the information I'm about to share with you are very credible. There are sources that I trust that I've received things that were very credible in the past from. And that's why I decided I was going to share this. So I got the information that some genetically modified mosquitoes carrying the Delta variant of COVID-19, or probably engineered to carry the Delta variant of COVID-19, have been injected or released into the atmospheres over the continent of Africa. Now, if you are an African, or even if you're not African, the moment you hear something like this, your heart will skip beats immediately. Because we've heard too many tales of all kinds of viruses and diseases being released in Africa, just for the purposes of reducing the population of our people. We know there's been this, no matter how much you think it's conspiracy theory, we know there's always been this plan to mass depopulate Africans for whatever reason I don't know. But the truth of the matter is that the plan has always been there. And then coupled with the fact that several months ago in 2020, in the heat of the whole COVID-19 shutdown, we heard Bill Gates' ex-wife telling us that she saw dead bodies on the streets of Africa. That prophecy of doom that we all rejected and prayed against. And now this, genetically modified mosquitoes. Tell me why anybody would want to do stuff like this, if not for just the purposes of mass depopulating Africa, so that the resources of Africa can belong to them. So our lives don't count anymore. Those resources underneath our feet, in our grounds, are more important than us. And this is why we always have to stand up and speak the truth and stand and pray. If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray, I will hear. Africa, we need to wake up because the enemy is all around us. If you are African and you don't smell death in the air, I don't know what you are smelling. It's not just only over Africa, also all over the world, but even more so in Africa. There's so much death in the air. And we need to wake up, my people, and smell the coffee right now. Did they manufacture these things abroad and injected them into Africa? Or did they manufacture them on ground in Africa in partnership with some globally sellout Africans? How did it happen, if this is true? All that question is something that we can answer another day. But the most important thing right now is that we must take care of ourselves. We must take charge of our own destinies, because death is in the air. Mark my words. I see a lot of truth in what I just received from these guys, that this thing is really true. And you know, my major worry when I heard about this was the fact that even if these people have not been able to create enough mosquitoes to infect every African, which they really don't have to do, they could create just a few and send them to some densely populated areas where they know our people are plenty and the hygiene culture there is very, very, very poor, almost next to zero. Where you have gutters and drainage system that is messed up, open gutters, so much filth everywhere. And people are so poor. They sleep outside. They sleep with open doors and windows because they don't have any good ventilation. There's so much poverty. People live even on top of water. In the swampy areas, breeding ground for mosquitoes. You could release this thing there. And those mosquitoes will go ahead and then begin to infect the organic mosquitoes that have always been in our environment. In case you don't know this already, genetically modified crops have been reported to cross-pollinate organic crops and destroy them and turned the organic ones into GMOs. There have been lawsuits upon lawsuits upon lawsuits to this effect. And many people have been settled to the tune of millions of dollars after they filed a lawsuit against maybe Monsanto or the government for this kind of dangerous, fatal cross-pollination.
Searching for greener pastures, dairy farmer Tony Azevedo switched from conventional farming 15 years ago to an all-organic dairy. His certified organic milk turns him a higher profit, but he also has to meet much higher standards too. Today, Azevedo's big worry is keeping alfalfa hay, the best feed for producing milk, from being contaminated by nearby genetically modified or GMO crops.
If alfalfa seed gets contaminated, we're out of business.
The contamination happens when these seeds drift from one farmer's land onto another's.
If my neighbor decides to plant GMO crops or Roundup Ready alfalfa, and he has a right to, I can't tell him how to run his life. What's going to keep that contamination from my farm?
The problem? The USDA recently approved the unregulated release of Monsanto's genetically modified alfalfa, which is engineered to be resistant to the company's herbicide Roundup, a chemical that kills weeds.
We can't survive with this kind of a ruling out. It's just not right.
Azevedo and his neighbor Ward Burrows say that could put them out of business. If GMOs are discovered in the feed, prices could go up, and they could lose important organic buyers like Whole Foods.
You see people who will say that, oh, the GMO corn cross-pollinated my own corn and destroyed my entire farm. If that could happen, GMO mosquitoes could also cross over and transfer whatever they carry to all the mosquitoes we are used to in our environment. And before you know it, this thing is all over the place. My goodness, can you imagine? I had too many questions in my head when I heard this, but when I started looking at the things that have happened recently, I started saying to myself, wait a minute, there could actually be some truth to this. Have you noticed how that too many people today are reported dead of malaria? If you're African like myself, growing up in Nigeria, we were so used to malaria. In fact, I was one of the #1 candidates of malaria sickness. I was sick from malaria almost every other few weeks. And every time we got treatment and I had to drink my Fanta, and then I was okay. Okay, I would just drink my sweet Fanta. So sometimes I would even tell my mom that I'm sick, and then they would buy me Fanta and I would drink Fanta. I would say, I'm fine now. So we were just playing pranks with this. But it wasn't the kind that if you treated the thing, it will come back immediately. It would wait for a long time. But haven't you noticed what is going on right now? People will suffer from malaria, they treat the thing, and the very next day they are sick again of the same malaria. I don't know if you've noticed this all over Africa. Not just in Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, everywhere. This is what is going on. We've never seen this kind of malaria before. So if this is happening right now, doesn't that raise a lot of questions? Doesn't that give credence to this kind of information that I'm receiving now, even though we haven't been able to conclusively verify it? You see someone you were with 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the next minute they say he's dead or she's dead. And they say, what happened? They say malaria. Or they say typhoid. You know, malaria is another name for typhoid in Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about any other part of Africa. In Nigeria, sometimes when they want to say malaria, they say typhoid. When they want to say typhoid, they say malaria. So we don't even know the difference between the two. So people are dying, and we are told that they are dying from malaria and typhoid. Look at even the other day, not too long ago, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, I lost a colleague, Rachel Onega. Her own family is insisting. Actors Guild of Nigeria is insisting it was malaria that killed her. When did malaria start killing people like this? Malaria was not that notoriously fatal. We knew it was a bad thing, but it wasn't that fatal. But now, almost everybody that dies around us, they say it's malaria. What kind of malaria is this one now? You're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices. If you have to sweat all through the night till morning to protect yourself and your family from any mosquito entering into your environment or into your home, please do it. It's worth it. Let me tell you why you have to be extremely careful, okay? You know, Africans, we are like Adam that was created, and we are actually the Adam. created and put inside the garden, surrounded by herbs. Herbs that were meant to preserve our lives and heal us of sicknesses and keep us healthy. So what is happening is that because we live in the midst of these herbs, because we live in a very organic environment, viruses and diseases have a hard time really affecting Africans. And some of these wicked eugenicists who have always been proponents of mass depopulation of Africans, they have been in the laboratories for so many years wondering, what do we do so we can get these guys? I told us one time of a particular professor called Professor Eric Pionka.
I actually think the world will be much better when there's only 10 or 20% of us left. Dr. Eric Pionka.
Prominent University of Texas biologist Dr. Eric Pionka, while receiving an award from the Texas Academy of Science, said that the worldwide AIDS pandemic was, quote, no good, it's too slow, and went on to laud the virtues of Ebola because it would kill 90% of the world population quickly. When his statements erupted into a national controversy, his graduate students defended him, stating that Pionka was too conservative and that all humans should be killed. But most frightening was the fact that in a crowd of over 1,000 prominent scientists, local newspapers reported that 95% of those in attendance gave Pionka sustained standing ovations every time he extolled the virtues of mass-culling microbes and man's destruction.
A man said this and he got standing ovation. These guys really literally want you to die. So because of where we live, it's not very easy for these things to get to us. The food we eat, the bitter leaf, the ugu leaf, the foriro, and all these things we eat, many of us are now running away from them, chasing after foreign food, drinking all kinds of chemical content into the body, saying you are drinking, you're feeling good. Go back to your natural water intake. If you can afford to buy alkaline 7.0, that's the natural alkaline reading of your pH when you were born in your body. The water in your body reads pH 7. So if you have alkaline that will give you pH 7, please stick with it. Otherwise, get natural water. Natural water gives you the same pH 7. If it's from the rock without any single hydrochloric anything in it, drink it so you can have your body temperature, your body chemical balanced. Chemical imbalance in the body is part of the reason why we have all these sicknesses. We have all this cancer and all kinds of stuff. That's why diseases build in our bodies. But when your body gets back to its alkaline state, originally the way God made it, your immune system is boosted and then is able to fight and combat these diseases. I'm telling you what I know. Change your lifestyle. Lifestyle change is the number one thing we need to focus on right now. Go to greens. Go to natural water. Do exercises. Take a walk around your environment or run or something. Keep your body fit. I want you alive. I love you. I don't care if you hate me. I love you and I want you to live. And if you're a Christian, you need to take note of certain scriptures that you must repeat to yourself every minute. I shall not die, but live to declare the goodness of the Lord. When I see the blood, I will pass over thee. These scriptures must never leave your mouth. Declare them day in, day out, and believe them. For 1,000 shall fall by your side, 10,000 by your right hand, but it will never come near thee. Only with your eyes will you look and behold the recompense of the wicked. Declare these words and believe it, because death is in the air. Take my word for it. Death is in the air. Look at the prostitute who helped the children of Israel when they were about to invade and take over the land. She was a prostitute, but she went and did something good to them. Then she went into a covenant. It's why I always tell you about covenant relationships. That's why we started Chastity International. That's why we started recently our Real Stingy Men group. The whole idea of real stingy men or whatever stingy women that we're going to start very soon is to come into a covenant with God. Lifestyle change is not just only physically, but also spiritual lifestyle change. Embrace morality. Just change your life. Amend your ways with God. Let's take charge of our destinies. The die is cast. We don't know what is going on. What we know is that death is in the air right now, all over the world, and more so Africa. So because of our environment, like I was saying, whatever they inject into the African airspace, they're going to make it to be super, mega lethal. In other words, it's going to kill fast, because they have been working so hard to find something that would come to Africa and bypass all our genetic and organic firewalls and begin to slaughter us in thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions. Unfortunately, they have never succeeded. If they succeed now with this so-called genetically modified mosquitoes, it's going to be so lethal that it will be hard for anybody to resist. You won't even have a breathing space. So increase your organic food intake, exercise more frequently, and no matter what it takes, take charge and take care of your home and of your life. So this is my 2 cents. I just wanted to share that with you, and I'm going to make a promise to you guys, like I always do, that I'm going to dig deeper into this and find the truth, okay? If I find the truth from my research, like you know how I do. When I say I'm going to research, I research. If I find the truth, you trust that I'm going to come back and share it with you. But for now, let us take care of ourselves, our loved ones, and our environment. I love you with all my heart, and I pray that you're safe and sound now and beyond. God bless you.